Hello, my name is Sensei Lou Royce. I've been teaching for 13 years. If you watched the first video on Yokogiri Kiyage, you'll notice that we focused on teachable. I tend to teach in 4 categories, and that is teachable, technical, trainable, and tactical. So today I thought we would have a look at the technical, or one of the technical aspects of Yokogiri Kiyage. Now there are many technical aspects, so once we have down the teachable part and we understand the basic dynamics of the technique, we can start adding the technical part. Now there are a lot of layers. We could look at body connection, we could look at the generation of speed, we could look at variation of targets, but today we're going to look at the generation of power. There are 8 ways to generate power for any technique. Not all of them apply to all techniques. So we're really only going to be looking at 4. We're going to look at matsu, we're going to look at movement, we're going to look at expansion and contraction, and we're going to look at pendulum. So these are the 4 elements of generating power that we're going to look at with our Yokogiri Kiyage. So again, go back to the teachable video if you haven't watched it. This one is all technical. So hopefully you remember there are 3 ways that we can do that Yokogiri Kiyage. I'm going to choose whichever one is most comfortable in the movement for these particular elements. The first one that we're going to be looking at is matsu. Matsu has 6 parts, but 3 of them apply to kumite. 3 of them apply to our own technique. And these 3 elements are: identify where your weight is at, learn to wait, or timing, and the last one is how do you use your weight. So where's your weight, learn to wait, use your weight are the 3 elements in this part of matsu. So as we go down into our kibidachi, obviously our weight is in the middle. And as we go to our next stance, which is kosudachi, our weight remains in the middle. However, we've moved about 2.5 feet, or almost a meter. And as we step out again, we're going to, again, move our weight. So there's a lot of elements going on here with where's our weight, what's the timing, and using our weight. So how we use our weight is we don't stop in the middle. We use that as a transition point to load our weight into our hip and move it into the technique. So rather than stop in the middle, we're going to move our weight at least 2 meters into that technique. And we can generate power. The second way of generating power is movement. If we look at a book called Fight Like a Physicist, it argues that the basic elements of force, mass times acceleration equals force, apply to us. So the faster I move my mass, matsu, into my target, the more power I can generate. This is movement. We typically do this by stepping. But again, the key element is don't stop in the middle. I have to move my feet, I have to move my body. And then I can generate power. The third way of generating power is expansion and contraction. I'm going to flip that, and we're going to put contraction on that kosudachi. So what we are going to be doing is expansion, contraction, expansion. So from an open position in my kibidachi, I'm going to compress my entire body here. And the more I compress this, the more I push forward and down. When I go to release my leg, the more power I will have. But I don't want to pause there, so I have to contract quickly. And then I can generate more power. Excuse me. The fourth element of generating power that we're going to use in this particular technique is pendulum. Pendulum is where we tilt the hip. We can tilt the hip forward, we can tilt the hip back, and we can tilt the hip side to side. Some techniques require we do both, such as Mawashigiri. This technique only asks that we tilt our hip to this side, and this allows us to put more weight, again going back to matsu, behind the technique. So I have to tilt the hip and push in with my technique. And again, I can generate power. Here's the tricky part, putting all 4 of those together in a single technique. What I would urge is that you spend some time studying each one. Study each one. Wait, wait, wait. Where's your weight? Learn to wait. Use your weight. Second one, movement. Making this smooth with no pause in the middle. Third, expansion and contraction. Expand, contract, expand as quickly as you can. Fourth, pendulum. Using the position of your hip for the purposes of power. Now the trick is putting all 4 together. As we put all 4 together, we get way more power behind that technique. If you want to know what the other 4 sources of power are, you're going to have to wait. Also, next time, perhaps we'll talk about how to train your body to do these things. Then we'll talk about the tactical advantage of it. Thank you.